What up, good people? It's me, Johnny, back at it again with another video. And today, I won't be giving any character breakdown or posting up any type of stats based on analysis to make my case in this video. And this video might actually not even be that long in length, but I wanted to actually give my opinion on something that I've noticed for quite some time now, and maybe you have too, which is exactly what the title of the video is all about. So, I was watching the Super Bowl and the famous and, in my opinion, overrated ads that were playing, and one ad that played, which brought this thought right to the forefront of my mind, was this trailer for the movie called Wicked. Now, in case you didn't watch the Super Bowl and missed the ads and this trailer, I'll give you a short version of this movie plot and which classic movie is actually supposed to be inspired by. You may actually be seeing some of this come up on the screen in the pictures and a little bit of that trailer that might be playing right now. But if you have seen The Wizard of Oz or even read the book The Wizard of Oz, you all know the stories about Dorothy and her dog Toto getting caught up by a tornado and being whisked off to the magical land of Oz. And after making some friends and defeating the evil wicked witch, and of course visiting the wizard, she eventually was able, to go back home. Or in the original film, she, woke up from a dream that most people only have when they are, doing a little bit of puff puff pass, if y'all know what I'm talking about. Of course, instead of falling back on the played out, tired stick of making it another remake of this film, since there have been many, this version of Hollyweird decides to go with what they have been doing now a days, which is the least probably popular thing that they can do, which is to switch the whole movie around to make all the women characters, including the Wicked Witch, the heroes. And ladies and gents, take a guess at who the supposed villain of the movie is. If you guess the wizard, who happens to be a man, then you would be right. Look, that's been the studio's agenda for a while now when it comes to movies or even TV shows, which is, man hate, man bad and all that. But, I actually want to get back to the main point of this video, which I truly believe is that Hollywood is hell bent on destroying classic movies or franchises, and not just because some people think that things were produced in the past, that were so awful that they needed changing, but I believe because they play such a major role in American culture and in many respects shaped how the culture then and even the film industry produced their products. This film, Wicked, is just one example of the many things produced out of Hollywood down through the years that we have seen this done to time and time again. And the question, that actually comes to mind is why? Now, yes, I did just mention about movies playing a role in the culture, and a lot of those movies that were made and we saw back then, in a lot of ways, actually, fit, I believe, what the culture was at the time. Heck, dare I say, it influenced just how we saw and shaped our society. For example, let's take a classic movie like Snow White that is being remade at this exact moment as we speak. Now, I'm sure you all know the original story of Snow White, so I won't, dive deep into that. But at the end of the day, the story was about how a young woman was able to survive her evil stepmother who was trying to kill her and find love through a guy who was smitten by her beauty along with the help of some male friends along the way. Before the recent changes, to the film actually being remade, let's take a look at what the lead actress of that movie, Rachel Zegler, said about, how she actually feels about that movie.
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. We we didn't do that this time.
So no Prince or a different kind of Prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because like we cast a guy in the movie.
Now, I know a lot of people gave her grief about this interview, but after hearing her say this, for me, it just screamed that if she is saying this, what must the producers of the film be telling her? Because I highly doubt that she would actually just come out and say this on her own, just out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure that she had not that much input when it came to the script that was being written. So even though yes, she said those words, my guess is that those bigwigs in Hollywood had this idea. It's like they want the lot of us to misremember the plot and the meaning of these original movies and to get us in line with the way they want us to see these past films as tired, old, played out, and so out of touch with the values of the current day that we live in. You see, back in those days, values for the most part were simple. And due to that, the plot of the movies, though they could be complex, carried a simplicity about them that's being taken out of these current movies. Being in love and wanting to get married wasn't frowned upon back then like it is now. Both men and women back then could be heroes or villains of the movie, and not just because we saw one or the other as more of a problem than the other. This is what these classic movies showed, and due to this, the people running the show now has to destroy this by remaking these movies to correct these quote unquote wrongs. The thing is, though, and this is the biggest no of all time, but there is nothing wrong with the story or the plot of these movies, so there is absolutely no reason to try and remake these movies and to try to tell them anew in some 2024 virtual signal of self righteous BS because we are so much more enlightened now compared to back then. I would like to, end this video by suggesting that the studios just go back to making original films with original thought. And heck, if you want to add your own agenda to your original think piece movie and leave these classic movies alone, go right ahead. But they know that's going to fail. So the new play, as this sinking ship that is Hollywood is going down until the drink, is to try and jump on the lifeboat of remaking classic movies wrapped in their agenda. Now, in my opinion, this won't save them either, which is a blessing because, as that one famous saying you may have heard goes, and it goes a little something like this: you can't fill your cup until you empty all it has, and these studios need to empty out all they cups, pitchers, jugs, and tubs of these god awful ideas so they can start to fill them back up with good ideas. Well, at least let's hope.